And speaking of that, fuck it, let's go on to the next one. The Draymond walk-off play. Was that against the Lakers? No, it was a Thunder game. The Thunder
No,
game. It was a Thunder game where Jordan Poole had the ball on the right wing and he was dribbling and dribbling and dribbling, and Draymond was wide open in the middle. He wasn't wide open. He was kind of open.
right. It was that split seconds where Poole had
Yeah.
made that pass in that pocket in that time, that split second, he would have had him, but he didn't. And Draymond reacted horribly. Horribly. Though I'll acknowledge, like, Poole maybe should have made that pass, but as one of the leaders of that team, is one of the elders, I would say, even in the league as well, not just the Lakers. Like, Draymond been in the league with close to 10 years now, so makes him like one of the elders in the league. That's a play you cannot make. It's deeper than what it does to your team. It's the backlash you bring from all the media, all the unnecessary attention that we don't need right now. At this time, we're trying to make a push and get everything together because we ain't got much time left. Like we've been saying for the longest, right? So I just think Draymond could have handled that differently. And I think he could have been more of a role model and accepted that and came out and apologized. And it seemed like he just been pointing fingers and making more drama, more stuff that we got to deal with internally that we don't really need right now, honestly.
I can't say I disagree. I really can't. I can say that me playing basketball before, especially out here in the Bay Area, I've done that. What Draymond did, I've done it before. I've got pissed off and I didn't completely just walk off and like go towards the stands, but I stood there like hands up and then was just like, all right, well, fuck it. And let them go down and play defense. And I stood on the other end. I've done that before just out of pure frustration and not getting the ball. So I get it. But for Draymond, I agree with what you said. You can't keep making more and more drama in one season.
Right.
Like, I love Draymond. I love his play. I love the tenacity. I love the dogness that's in him. But again, you cannot keep making more drama and more talking points, especially when your season isn't already going good. Now, if the season was going great and they was right now about 50 and 10, 50 and 15, then yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care. But when you're struggling, when you're struggling to hold on to the 6th seed and you're barely 500, you're one game over 500. At that point in time, there were 2 games over 500. And you're causing more talking points, it just becomes more of a distraction and it starts to look like maybe you're the problem instead of anybody else.
Right.
So that's the only thing where I'd be like, Draymond, I probably wouldn't have handled it that way in my 30s. But in my teens, I absolutely would have. But not in my 30s.
I'm just tired because it seemed like, man, like we started the season with this. Like, I know you remember the Poole Draymond situation. That's how we started this season. And it almost seemed like it was kind of dying down, the animosity between them two. But all this literally did was bring it and regurgitate it right back up for the media to bring up and to dissect.
And we'll never know if it lingered all year so far anyway, because it kind of looks like maybe it has.
Right.
Like there's still a divide between the young guys and the older guys. There's a divide whether they want to admit it or not.
Exactly. You can sense it. It's kind of hard not to. We're humans. It definitely exists, man.
Absolutely. And I could tell you one thing too. When James Wiseman got traded, you could absolutely tell that was something that Steph wanted. Whether anybody's gonna ever say it or not, it was something that Steph wanted.
He definitely had to sign off on that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Just that doesn't get made without Curry giving the okay.
Yeah, so, I think he gave more than the okay. He was like, "Nah, we need to do it." And even though Wiseman's playing pretty good in Detroit right now, I just think that Steph was like, "No, we need veterans. I need guys that's going to help." And there was one play in particular where James Wiseman got mad at Steph because Steph didn't get him the ball, and that was one of the things where Steph was just like, "Blood, you sure we should have him on the team? Like he think it's offense and it's supposed to be about him. He don't know how the team dynamics is and how the offense is ran around us and moving and reading and reacting and stuff like that." You could tell that's been going on. But anyway, I didn't want to go too much on the James Wiseman thing, but just more of the divide, because you could tell just like with Draymond yelling at Anthony Lamb a couple weeks ago because Anthony Lamb missed the rotation. You know what I mean? You could tell where like certain things were Draymond walking off on Jordan Poole, Steph throwing the mouthpiece because he was mad at Jordan Poole. Klay Thompson, last week there was a situation where JP went to go shoot a technical. And Klay walked up to the free throw line and was like,
See,
"Watch out, blood!
yeah.
Watch out!" And JP was like, "Wait, what? Why I can't?" He was like, "Nah, bro, nah, watch out, move." And you could tell it's just like, bro, you need to know your place in the pecking
Right.
order.
Know the exactly.
And he doesn't really know his place yet, and you can tell that that's kind of causing a little bit of the friction. Do you agree? And that's leading into the Jordan Poole problem. Is there a Jordan Poole problem?
I wouldn't go as far as to label them a problem, because problem it seems like a dirty word, but it's an issue. It's a bit of an issue because
is he the epicenter of what's going on right now? Is he the
no,
center of what's going on?
no. If I was to pinpoint where I feel like a lot of our issues, a lot of our downfall, I would pinpoint more of Draymond being a leader and being more of the just the vocal leader to be being more of our leader. Like I pin more of that on Draymond than Poole, but we definitely have an issue where Poole he has this moments where he wants to step up and be the man, but then again he gets lackadaisical, kind of like just floats off and gets in his moods. So
I can tell you don't want to say it, but you kind of like it's a little something, but you like
I'm starting to notice it more in Poole, like his efforts. Like defensively, he's always been kind of on and off, not really doing much. But like offensively, I'm starting to notice it more. Like his body language is starting to be more and more apparent. And I guess I notice it more now because we're losing, so it's more easy to analyze it and critique it when you're losing. But like it's a lot of the same stuff I feel like kind of been going on the whole season. It's just more blowing up now because we're losing now, and it's critical now. But I don't think it's a problem. I think it's an issue where Kerr needs to kind of establish the pecking order, establish the roles more, because it seems like when Poole is starting, he plays differently than when he's on the bench, and I feel like that conflicts his game.
Yeah,
and he's. I don't feel like he's a mature enough player to be able to dissect that yet. He's still kind of needing that maturity, needing that guidance. And maybe it's up to Steph to kind of grab him under the wing, or maybe it's with Iggy, but I feel like he needs more help. We can't put all that on him just yet. He's still young. He's still growing. He got his check. So I feel like once you get that check, that big contract,
you kind of fall back
and skyrocket. Now they almost skyrocket because you almost expect it to do it now. Like last year, Poole, like it wasn't out of the blue, but like no one really fully knew him like we did. Like the Warrior fans knew him, but he kind of burst onto the scene last year to where he was not a star, but like he's a household name. So coming into this year with the whole Draymond situation, that kind of put a whole other spotlight on him because the national media, that's all they talked about was Draymond and Poole. Can they continue this with the ring? Even though they got
his manhood too, at the end of the day, just being a man and just getting snuffed, and it's on camera and it's all over the world. So that's
not being able to fully retaliate how I'm sure he wanted to. So I'm sure that eats at him as well.
I agree. I think too, Steph needs to do more on a vocal level to me. Not to the media, not to us. Like he don't need to say anything to us. He don't need to say anything at the podium. I think he need to take more of a vocal role, because I feel like the team was doing very good twice without Steph.
Right.
They built a chemistry, a momentum without Steph twice. Two 5-game road,
like
2 5-game win streaks without Steph. The only ones that we got of the season. When Steph came back, it was like niggas just fell back. It was like, okay, well, Steph got it, or they was just like, well, we're just gonna shoot threes because Steph is back. It was like the whole game kind of changed. It's like, I don't know if they still feel like they got to revolve their game around Steph because that's the way that the system is. I really can't really tell. But I think at the end of the day, I think Steve Kerr needs to change the way the starters play and how the bench plays. When the second unit comes in and there's no Steph, it needs to be a completely different system. You need to run more pick and roll for Jordan Poole and for Looney, because Looney usually is in the game right there with him, or for Draymond. Him and Draymond pick and rolls. You need to do more of that, and not just to read and react where guys just think they can throw up threes because Steph Curry and Klay Thompson's on their team. It's because it's not gonna work like that. And that's really what all they've been doing is just jacking up threes. The last game that they had, they shot it was 53s out of 82 shots. Like, so you shot fucking what, 23 or 33 fucking twos?
That was
like,
Memphis?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I do attribute that. That definitely, that's the Steph effect. That many threes coming back from Steph, that's a Steph game. I didn't realize it was that many threes. Jesus, yes. We weren't even knocking them down. Normally, like we stop when we ain't knock them down. I don't know why we continue to jack them up in that game. I mean, Steph was on, so Steph was making his, but like other than that, wasn't no bright spots in that game.